हरि ओम सर्वेभ्यो नमस्कारः Advaita Chintana Vartike Sarvesham Swagatam. Welcome all to Advaita Chintanam. We are dealing with Dakshinamurthy Stotram of Shankaracharya with Manasolasa Varthika of Suresuracharya as a gloss or a explanation for that. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vipakine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Now these are the Mangala Stotram of Dakshinamurthy Stotram. Om Maunavyakya Prakadita Parabrahmatattvam Yuvanam Varshishtate Vasasrishikanai Avrutam Brahmanishtam Acharyendram Karakalida Chinnudram Anandarupam Swatma Ramam Muditavadanam Dakshinamurti Mire Vadapidapi Samibe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakala Muni Jananam Dhyanamadaramara Privana Gurumisham Dakshinamurti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami Chitram Vadataror Mule Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya Nidaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavartaya Shuddha Jnanaiga Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chidabhyanaya Maheshaya Vadamula Nivasine Satchidananda Rupaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Thank you all. In the last class we went through the meaning of all these Mangala Shlokas, and then we started the Manasolasa, where the 8 slokas of Varthikam we went through. Atmalabhat paralabho na natiri muneyo vidu tallabhartam kavi staudi swatmanam parameswaram. For the purpose of Atmalabha, the gain of self-knowledge, Staudi Swatmanam Parameswaram. So, with the Parameswaram, who is in the form of Swatman, our own self, is being prostrated upon, and Swechaya Srishtam Yavishya Vishwam Yo Manasistitaha Sotrena Suyate Anena Sayava Ishara Parameshwara. Now he is defining what is Parameshwara. I am just recapping, I am not going into the details now. Swechaya Srishtam Avishya Vishwam Ya Manasistitaha. Swaechaya, with his own desire or his own self-volition. Srishtam, he creates, and Avishya, having entered, he becomes Vishwa. Ya Manasistitaha, it is in the mind of the Ishvara. Stotrena Suyate Anena Iva Parameshwara. By this stotra, and Suyate means creates, Anena eva Parameshwara. The one who is creates all these things by the prayers is a Parameshwara. Asti prakashata iti vyavahara pravartate taccha tattitvam prakashatvam kasmin artham pradishtitam. Asti prakashata means there is the awareness. Prakashata here, prakasha means not light. It is the revelation or the awareness in which we are having a vyavahara means transaction. Taccha astitvam prakashatvam. In that asti, when we say that the pot is, or the tree is, or the cow is, or whenever we are saying, there are two things which are being shown by the sentence. One is that the existence of the object, also the knowledge of the object, prakashatvam and astitvam. Katham kasmin arte pradishtam. What are the substratum for these two? Kim teshu teshu va atteshu kim va sarvatmani ishvare ishvaratvam cha jivatvam sarvatmatva kidrasham. Now, keshu va atteshu kim va. In the object, artha, in the objects, in what are the forms in it is, and in the sarvatmani ishvare, in the ishvara, you are saying sarvatmatvam, ishvara is saying that is the atma of all. Then ishvaratvam and jivatvam, sarvatmatvam, how can we define this, or how are these things related? These are all the questions of the student. Janiyat kadam jiva kim tat jnanasya sadhanam, jnanat tasya balam kim syat ekatvam cha kadam bhavet. Janiyat, how will I know? Kadam janiyat, how will I know? Jiva kim, what is the jiva? Tat jnanasya sadhanam, that of the method through which I can achieve the knowledge. What is the phalam? Tasya phalam. What is the result if I acquire the knowledge? Ekatvam syad. The statement from the Upanishad is that ekatvam anupashyata. You see the unity in all those things. Sarvam Atman, Sarvam Sarvatmatvam, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, all these expressions are told by the Upanishad. Tat Satcha Katam Bhavet. How can it happen by knowledge? The knowledge is, we know, when we know about a cow, we know about the cow. That doesn't make us a knowledge of that cow and myself are the one. So how does this jnana is different from that? So that Sarvatmatvam, how does it happen? Sarvatnyaha sarvakarta cha kadam atma bhavishyati. Sarvatnyaha, knower of everything. Sarvakarta, and every action, he is the doer of every action. Cha kadam atma bhavishyati. How can the atma which is residing in me? So the Upanishad says Angushta Matra Purusha, Hridaye Sushtati, all of them. So that atma, how can it be Sarvatnya and Sarvakarta bhavishyati? Shishyam pratitham pruchandam bhaktum arabade gurum. These type of questions were being asked by the student to the teacher, and now the teacher starts answering all these questions in the form of Dakshinamurthy Stotram. That is the beginning of the Stotram. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijandargatam pashyan atmani mayaya behirivo udbhudam yada nidraya yat sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swa atmanam eva advayam tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Now tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye is there in all the 10 slokas which is written by Shankaracharya. What does it mean by Guru Murti, in the form of a Guru? Murti means embodiment. Guru embodied. And who is taken the embodiment of Guru? Dakshina. Dakshina means Jnana. Dakshina Murti means the knowledge itself is in the form of, is the Guru here. And Tasmai, to that Guru, Namayidam, these prostrations. Now, what does the Guru teach us? That here is the first teaching, that Vishwam means the world or the universe. All creation is called Vishwam. Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. Darpana Drishyam means vision. Darpana means mirror. So the vision in a mirror, like that, Mana, Nagari, like a city, when you hold a mirror, see on the top of on a cliff or on a mountain and you are looking down to the valley, the whole valley gets reflected into the mirror. So, even though the whole valley cannot be contained in a mirror, but the whole valley can be seen through the mirror as reflection of the valley. Now this upama or this simile is being used for saying that Nijandargadam Pashyan, because of Atmani Pashyati. In our own knowledge or our own awareness, we are seeing, Nijandargata means our own inner knowledge, awareness, due to Maya, Mayaya, Bahirivo, as if it is outside, Udbhudam Yada Nidraya, in the sleep when we are seeing a dream, the entire experience of the dream is nothing but a effect in the knowledge or awareness. There is no creation of physical bodies or objects or any of those experiences which we are having in the dream. But Udbhudam Yata, as if they have been created in a space and time and they have a reality, is what our experience is there when we are dreaming. When we are dreaming, we are not aware of our waking state or any other state or even our own, identity, that who we are. Like whether we are a king or a beggar or a policeman or a lawyer, nothing of sort is there to the experiencer of the dream. But at the same time, the experiencer of the dream, which is there in the dream, experiences another set of world, which is as real as the waking world. There he sees known people, unknown people, goes through the happiness, sorrow, even his own sleep. In that sleep also he may dream. In the dreamer, sleeping can see a dream, or the dreamer can see his own death in the, his own death in the dream. All those things are possible. How does this happen? But at the time of seeing it, we are not knowing that these are all dream and happening it inside us. While experiencing that, it is as good as it is real and outside. And then the travel, if you are traveling by car or by any conveyance or any aeroplane or a ship or anything for that matter, they are all experiences which are really experienced. Bahirivo, as if they are really and outside our cognition. They are placed outside and physically we are enjoying them. Not even for an iota of a second while dreaming, we are in a position to shift our identity from the experiences to see it is as a dream. So what happens is that it becomes a reality while dreaming. Same way, in the waking, in the same awareness, it is the same thing what is happening. What happens is that awareness in which this individuality is there, who is the waker, is equal to the dreamer. What is the world of the dreamer is equal to the world of waker. Identical in both the cases. The only difference what we are able to do is we are able to do a logical analysis in the waking state, but that logical analysis is not possible in the case of a dream. Dream we are mere experiencer, whereas here we have an additional faculty of our intellect, with which we are able to analyze the experience. This is the only difference, but both are Vihirivo Mayaya. Due to the Maya, Maya here is what that can what is not there is made possible by that which power or which force or which knowledge that is what is called Maya. The Sanskrit terminology for is that vidyate yasa, vidyate nasa sa Maya. It is not there, but it can create as if it is there. That is what is Maya is all about. So what here is saying that these experiences of a dream and waking are there for us to analyze and compare for us. Now this knowledge is not normally even come in our mind for on our day-to-day basis. That the dream is exactly a projection like how the waking is. But no, for us waking is absolutely real. There is solidity. Who says there is no solidity in the dream? If somebody has beaten you with a rod in the dream, you may fall down. The rod had solidity in the dream. But after waking, we say, no, it is a dream, it was not real. Same way, we need to wake up from this waking. That prabodha samaye, that is the time when the knowledge arises. And sakshat kurute, sakshat means direct experience of that knowledge that even waking and dream are the same. Both the places, what was available was Advaita, non-dual, Swa-Atma. Our own awareness was what was there both in the dream and in the waking. This knowledge is the one which the Guru Murti, Dakshinamurthy is telling us to analyze it. However much we are told to analyze it, the grip of the Maya is so much that we are unable to shake it out our waking state of experiences. Waking is treated as real and dream is treated as unreal. But when we go to the dream, we don't have access to the waking to deny the waking. Because that is how the mind functions. The intellect is there only in the waking. So intellect is able to remember the mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, the four functions of the mind. Only two of them are there in the dream, but all the four are operation in the waking. Therefore, we are able to recollect to the last of the dream. We don't remember what happened in the beginning of the dream at all, because it keeps erasing. As we experience, it keeps erasing. The last few minutes where it is transiting between the dream to the waking, which we call it as a lucid dream or semi-dream. This is exactly what we remember, but we don't remember the actual dream which has happened before. So this is what is called Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. How does the Drishyam happen in a mirror? Where in standing in front of a mirror, we see ourselves. And we are combing the image to comb our hair. Actually, we are combing our own hair, but correction is being done by seeing what is inside the mirror. If there is a spot on the face, you are looking at the spot of the space in the mirror and touching our own face and correcting that spot. So, the dependency on the reflection is taken so much of real that we feel that what we are decorating is the image in the mirror, while we are actually decorating the one who is in front of it. Now this is exactly the story in the Greek story also in the case of Narcissus, who fell in love with her own image. And this is because he thought it is be real. So this delusion is created by not knowing the reality. And that not knowing the reality is what is called Maya. So Maya in the Advaita has got three aspects. What we say is that avidya, and then we have ajnana, samshaya, viparyaya. These are the three forms in the form of avidya comes. Ajnana means not knowing the reality of the substratum or the reality of the substance. Viparyaya is superimposition or wrong knowledge or misapprehension of the not known reality. Like the rope is the reality, we don't know the reality of the rope, so we misapprehend it to be a snake, so we are superimposing snake on the rope. Then there is another thought called samshaya. When the truth is being told, no, it is not snake, it is rope, we are not willing to accept it. There is a hurdle called samshaya, or a doubt, whether that person who is telling is the truth or not. You are still scared whether the snake is live, it will bite, or anything. You are not ready to accept. You don't want to go anywhere nearby. So these are the three things which are holding us not to realize the truth of an object. This is the same thing when happens when the Advaita, the Upanishad or the Master tells us that it is the reflection in your own awareness which you see similar to the dream is what you see in our waking. But we are not ready to accept it. We have a doubt, and we have the viparyaya, misapprehension, saying that in the dream they were not real, in this waking they are all real. How can it be? I can say the waking is also unreal like that. This is what is called Maya. So that Maya has to be, or that doubt and misapprehension and not knowing the reality are the method which we have to remove it to know the truth. This is being taught to us by only jnana, or the knowledge only can remove the ignorance. These three forms of ignorance can be removed only by knowledge. And that knowledge has to be sakshat. It has to be your immediate knowledge. Immediate knowledge in the sense, once you know it, there is no doubt about it. It is the story of the 10th man. When 10 people cross the river, they start counting them, forgetting to count the man who is counting. So he says, so there are only 9. Each one does the same mistake, and all the 10 are crying, until one man who comes from outside and sees that all the 9 are crying. They ask them, why are you crying? They said, no, we 10 of us crossed the river, and now we are only 9 of them. So, but he found the 10 is there. So he understood what the mistake has been done. So he tells them to count again. And when the 10th person comes, he says that you are the 10th person. You are not counting yourself. Tadattvamasi, that 10th person is you. You are the 10th person. That time, you don't need any yogasana, meditation, or japa, tapa, dhyanam, or to realize you are the 10th person. The knowledge is Vastutantra is because Vastutantra means as an object, the knowledge is as real as the object. To realize that there is fire, you don't need to do any of those other methods, because knowledge of fire is knowing the fire what it is as it is. You will know that it has light and the heat in it by experience, direct experience. And that is what is called fire. For that you don't have to do any of those, other activities which are prescribed for other methods. Because jnanam and atman, which is ours in the form of jnanam, is immediate and direct. When we are told that you are that, if we are not able to understand the meaning, is because of the three impediments we harbor in our mind. One is we are doubting, otherwise we are not able to accept because I am holding on to the body as I am. And the third one is that even if it is told, I am not ready to accept it. So it remains as an ignorance. This, when the Guru says Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, is the immediate Anubhava, and that is the Sakshat Anubhava. Swatmanam Advayam, that Atma is Advayam. Here when we say Atma, most of us have got the idea that it is something unique residing in this body. No. It is not something residing unique in the body. It is the very essence in which the whole existence is substratum, supported with that. This body is in Atma, the knowledge is in Atma, The experiences are in Atma, the objects are in Atma. That is why Swatmanam Evadvayam. All those Vishwam which you are seeing outside is also in your own Atma. Your own Atma is not inside your physical body. No. Your Atma means you are limiting your Atma by saying you are Atma. Whereas Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma or I am Atma Brahma, when we say that, you should understand we are talking about that existence knowledge in which everything is suspended or supporting, or the appearances, Nama Rupa, is in the knowledge. And the Nama Rupam is the reason why we are making a difference. For example, the mud itself, when it becomes a shape of a pot, we call it as a name by name pot, and we have got a form called pot. We may have the utility of it for bringing water or storing grain or whatever may be the requirement. But all the while when we are doing the pot and the reaction and the utility and all the transaction with the pot, what we are actually transacting with is mud. The name is that of the mud. The form is that of the mud. Only when mud is there in that form you can have the utility of it. Sans the mud, if you are removing the mud from that, the name cannot stand by itself, the form cannot stand by itself. Forget about the utility. Same is the case. Vacharampanam vikaro namadeyam vrittigatteva satyam is the statement which is a Chandogya Upanishad is a saying. Vak alambanam. Everything is alambana means dependency. Vak means the name. Vak alambanam means the dependency on the name is Vacharampanam vikaro namadeyam. Vikara means form. So it is the name and the form. In all our experiences, we are forgetting that with which the experiences are happening. If you ideally, it cannot be removed because it is all everywhere all the time. For the analysis purpose, imagine if you can remove the awareness from an object. The object, when it is removed, the object it doesn't become available for awareness. Then where does the name and the form of the object depend upon? If the object itself is not existing, can the name and the form of the object exist without the name and without the object? No. And without the object, there is no transaction available, as I explained in the case of a pot. This is what we are saying. The existence itself is awareness, existence awareness, Sat Chit. These are the two things which are one and the same, but one is what we experience as a form, one and the other one is the knowledge of the form. So in the Tarkika thing, there are two knowledges what they talk about it. When they say that this is water, that first knowledge is called Vyavasaya Jnana. And I know this is water is my experience, which is called Anuvyavasaya Jnana. These are the technical terms. I am not getting into the Nyaya philosophy to explain all those things. But what happens is that the first is required to have the second knowledge. This is water. This is idam. This is what is it showing? This means existence. Is means awareness. That is the primordial or minimum requirement for naming anything. Only when we know this is, whether it is water or food or what animal or human being, whatever be that name and form is different. Only when this is, that name and form has got a existence. Otherwise, you cannot mention about that object at all. After that, when we say that I know this is dog or this is a tree or this is a flower, that knowledge is a flash which is happening in our intellect. But it is It is the knowledge which is that, with which we know that it is that intellect is getting the knowledge, that anuvyavasaya jnana. Same way, when we see the waking, we have to analyze all our experiences, that it is exactly same as what we experience in the dream. Here also, I am the experiencer of waker, I am the experiencer of the dreamer in the dream. The world of objects of the dream and the world of objects of the waking, both have got name and form, and it has got existence, and if only that have got existence and awareness, I can say this is a tree in a dream and this is a tree in a waking, identical in all aspects. Our experience of the tree in the dream was identical. Our tree experience in the waking is also identical. But in the waking, we add a value to it, saying that it is solid, real, and everything. And we are ready to deny the existence and the solidity of the dream. No. When you were in dream, at the time of experience, it was as solid and real as in the waking. So this is what the first sloka is saying, that Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari, as the whole world as is reflected in the mirror, Tulyam Nijam Dargatam, it is being reflected in our awareness. The Nija Andargatam means, again the confusion can come, that the awareness, the knowledge is out, has it happening outside or inside. So to that he says, Pasyan Atmani Mayaya. Due to the Maya, we are making the inside-outside difference. Actually speaking, that inside-outside there is no difference. Yatava Bahirivam Bhudam Yada Nidreya. Just as in the dream, the dream also, the dreamer was seeing everything outside the dreamer. But the dream, for the one who was dreaming, when he wakes up, he knows that the dreamer, the dream world, everything was inside him solely. Yaha, that person who Sakshat Kurute makes me realize in my immediate experience. Prabodha Samaye, with the knowledge of Prabodha means awareness. Prabodha means Vishesha Pranarvite. That Aham Eva, Swa Atmanam Eva Advayam. I am, this Atma is Advayam Eva. There is no difference between the whole worlds of experiences, whether it is in the dream or in the waking. So this is the first mantra of that, for which now Varthikakara Suresuracharya is giving the explanatory slokas for it. Andarasmin ime loka andar vishwam idam jagat bahirvat mayaya abhadi darpane swashariravat. Andarasmin, in within this, ime loka, all these words of experience which is seen inside me in the dream, andar vishwam, the inner world of the jagat, bahirvat, as if it is outside, mayaya, due to maya, is why it is shining outside, as if it is outside, just as the mirror reflecting everything. So shariravat, in the mirror, when the body is reflecting, we are seeing our body inside the mirror. Actually, there is nothing inside the mirror to have that movement there or presence there inside that. It is only a reflection, and that is what is called Maya. That is how the reflection is taking place, and then we see that it is outside us. How can the body which is in front of the mirror be outside, behind the mirror? No, we feel it is as if it is behind the mirror. Swapne swa andargatam vishwam yada prithak iva ikshate tada eva jagrat kale api prapanchaha ayam vichintya. Swapne, in the dream, swa andargatam vishwam, the world which is seen inside, yada prithak iva ikshate, as if it is separate from the dreamer, is being seen by the dreamer. Tada, like that. Jagrat kale api prapancha ayam. This prapancha is exactly same like the Jagrat kala, like the Swapnantargadam Sishyam. There is absolutely no difference between the dream and the waking. Our experience of the dream and our experiences of the waking are exactly the same. Ayam vichintyam. You have to, this has to be analyzed. Analyze it by, because this is the way in which we have to understand that how the experiences are taking place. Once we know the fact behind the experiences, we are no more tormented or no more affected by the experiences with whatever it is happening. Because nothing in the dream has ever affected us. Why should the things happening in the waking affect us? When we know that waking is also like an experience similar to the dream, while experiencing the waking, it appears to be real. Fine, let it be real, appearing real. Experiences, let it go through. But at the heart of the heart, I know that this is momentary. As long as I am awake only, I can see the world of objects and the waking and everything. When I am in the dream, I am enjoying another set of worlds. And when I am in the deep sleep, I am devoid of both the problems of the waking and the dream, and I am in peaceful within myself. So, this is the way you have to analyze it. Swapne susatta evam arthanam sattana anyedi nishchita. Ko jagrati vishesha asti jaranam ashu nashinam. Swapne susatta eva arthanam. Swapna, in the dream, artha means objects. The objects in the dream had a reality or the existence and awareness. Satta, which is called. That is, where did it come from? The objects were there in the dream. The dreamer, he was seeing the object. He was traveling by a car or a chariot, or he was shot by a gun, or he burns his hand, or he sees something getting, wet by rain. All those things have got a reality in the dream. Satta means reality. In the dream, where does this reality of the objects of the dream get the satta? Swasatta. It is the dreamers, the one who was dreaming, it is his reality or his true nature is what is giving the reality to it. Satta anna anyedi nishchita. There was no other satta to come from anywhere outside. Then what is the Jagrati Vishesha? What is the difference in the Jagrat for the Satta of the Jadana? This instant destruction immediately happens the moment you analyze it properly, that the waking objects are also just as good as imaginary as that of a dream. Again he says, Swapne prakasho bhavanam swaprakashat nahi itara. Jagrati api tataiva iti nischitnvanti vipaschitaha. Swapne prakasho bhavana. Bhava means experiences or events. In the dream, they are all having the experience or the light or knowledge of experiences. Swaprakashat, that all are getting illumined by the self, which is projecting the world of objects of the dream. There was no sun separate, no moon separate, no light, no fire, nothing. It is there, they separate to shine the objects of the dream. Yet all of them were experienced as if they were real. Now, where does the light or the bhanam or the prakasham or the appearances of the reality come for those objects? Swaprakasha, that is your own reality. Your own reality is being reflected upon into the objects. Na hi itara. There is nothing other than that. It was your own awareness which was projecting the entire world of dream. So the projector, the projected, the experiencer, the objects, the light, the darkness, the rain, the water, the fire, everything is the one who was projecting the dream from his own awareness. Jagrati api tadaiva. In the waking also, what we are seeing is by Adi. Not this individual who is in the dream is projecting the dream world. No, forget about it. The dreamer cannot project the dream. Dreamer is an object like any other object in the dream. Like the object of a tree or a chariot or a car or a dog or a cow. The dreamer also is an object inside that. He has no potency to project all those things. But so Prakasha Atma is the one which is projecting the dream. The same Suprakasha Atma projects you and me as individuals in the waking and the world outside. Just as a dreamer was projected by the Atma, the waker is also projected by the Atma. Your Atma means Ishvara, Sarveshvara, Paramatma, Brahma, I am Atma, Brahma. All terms interchangeably the Upanishad and the Shruti uses it. So when it is saying that power, that existence awareness is the one which is projecting the individuality of the waking as a waker, the individuality of the dream as a dreamer, the entire world of the dream, the objects, experiences, good, bad, ugly, everything. Same is the case with the world outside here in the waking. It is that conscious awareness which is projecting the waker, the world of experiences, the good, bad, ugly of the waking, and the objects of it. Whether it is science, physics, chemistry, or anything, doesn't matter. It is all part of that waking world only. So, iti vipaschita nishchitavananti. Vipaschita means the learned people is ascertaining or determining that there is no difference between the experiences of the dream and the waking. Nidraya darshita anabdhan na pashyati yatha uttitaha sabhyat jnanodayat urdhvam tata vishwam na pashyati. Nidraya darshita anabdhan. The calamities which we see in the dream. Na pashyati yatha uttita. As we wake up, we may have been mauled by a lion, or we have been shot by a bullet, or we fell from a cliff, or any sort of anartha means any sort of calamity that would have happened in the dream. But the moment we wake up, we give a sigh of relief saying, oh my God, that was only a dream. I thought I really got affected by that. So that is the sigh of relief we get because the knowledge of the unreality of our experience gave us the relief from the effects of the dream. Same way, samyak jnanodaya, as the immediate knowledge of our own reality happens, urdhva means after that, tata vishwam na pashyati, the world which we are seeing today as real, with the separation that I am separate, the world is separate. That sort of a separatedness and the reality of the world will no more remain that way. You will just as when you recollect the dream, what happens to your dream, same way you can recollect the entire experiences of the waking, continue to see the waking experience, but you know the reality behind it, that it is in my conscious awareness that the individuality called me came up and the world for me to experience also came up. So both are of nothing but my own, the conscious awareness. I can't call it as my own consciousness anymore because I don't exist at that time. Samyak jnanodaya param. So after that, it is the conscious awareness with which the world is projected in the waking, the world is projected in the dream. So therefore, the calamities of both waking and the dream are being treated in the same way. It is no more affecting you. It's the events happening. What happened to the dream, it finished with the dream. What happens to the waking, it will finish with the waking. So what difference does it make? I am the one who is seeing the change between waking to dream, to deep sleep, and again coming to waking, again going to dream, again going to deep sleep. The cycle of these things are going on, but when I know that I am neither the one in the dream, nor in the waking, nor in the deep sleep, I am free from all the three. Tegyo vilakshana sakshi chinmatroham sadashi. That is the noise. So, when the samyak jnana udayat, when after this jnana, this immediate knowledge of the reality, samyak means immediate realization, clear-cut knowledge. There is absolutely no space for error or doubt. That type of knowledge is called samyak jnana. And that when udayat, when it dawns in our mind, the mind is the one which is seeing that the experiences are in the mind, no doubt. The experiences of the dream was in the dreamer's mind. The waker has a mind. It is in the waker's mind the separation of the individuality and the world is being seen. Both the phases which is identical. Experiences are in the mind. In the awareness there is no mind. That no mind state, there is no what is called the identification to the instruments of waker or a dreamer. But knowledge or experience will be seen as unreal and happening to the individual experiences. He becomes a witness to these experiences. It doesn't happen to him anymore. The difference between happening to oneself and being a witness to happening something, I don't have to explain that. All of us know that. That is that state of when samyak jnana udayat urdhvam tatam ishvam na pashyati. The whole world will be seen in a different light altogether. This verse is taken directly from the Mandukya Upanishad Karika directly. Anadi mayaya supto yada jiva prabudyate ajam anidram aswapnam advaitam buddhyate tada. This is a Gaudapada's verse. Suresuracharya is literally word by word he has exported it into this one. Because there is no better way to explain this. Anadi mayaya. This maya which has no beginning. It is from eternity. When it started, you don't know. See, when we are asked, when did you know that you do not know? Since when do you know that you don't know about it? Can we say time? Because even time didn't exist before that time. So we cannot say that this time onwards my ignorance started. No. Therefore, anadi maya. And suptaha means the one who is sleeping due to this maya, which is from eternity. Yada jiva prabudyate. As the jiva becomes enlightened, prabudyate, enlightened by the knowledge of the reality which has been explained till now in all the shlokas, he realizes what is his real nature. His ignorance of anadi maya, it is anadi, but anantam nasti. It is not anantam, it is not without an end. This is the difference between maya and Ishvara. Maya is anadi, but antam is, it has got an end. Because as the knowledge comes, maya cannot stand anymore. It is a darkness which is removed by the light. But Ishvara is anadi and anandam. He has no beginning, he has no end. So that Ishvara means the knowledge or the awareness. When did the awareness start or when will the awareness end? There is no beginning, no end. Therefore it is anadi anandam. Therefore satyajnanam anandam or satchidanandam, all these words anandam or anandam is used interchangeably in the Upanishads for explaining that eternity. Once that jiva prabudyate, when the knowledge arises, ajam, then he realizes that awareness never had a beginning. I am the awareness and I have no beginning. Anidram, I am not the one who was not sleeping. It is the projection from the awareness that the nidra was seen as happening in that. I am the witness to that. Aswapnam, there is no deep sleep, no dream. And Advaitam, all that remained was that pure awareness or Advaitam. That buddhyade tada, that knowledge arises at that time. When the knowledge, so the remedy, the solution for all these delusion due to Maya, because of which we are able to feel that separation between the dream and the waking, one is real, one is illusory. All those things is due to the Maya, which is causing us to feel that one is real, the other is real. But when we were dreaming, the dream was actually real, but we didn't have any knowledge of the waking, so we could not say that was unreal. But the moment we have the knowledge, when we analyze it in the waking, we realize that there was no beginning for the Maya. In the Maya, I was there even before when it started, so I don't know when it is. So I don't have a beginning. Means I am ever present. And I am not the one who is going to sleep nor going to the dream. It is an experiences in my awareness, not that I am dreaming and I am sleeping. Therefore, I am there in the dream, in the waking, in the sleep, and before, as not, I don't have a birth even to know that. Therefore, I am Advaitam. That non-dual awareness, consciousness, Satchidanandam Brahma, that knowledge comes for the Jiva. When the knowledge about Maya. Now, how does this happen? These two slokas, we will take it today. With that, we stop it. Srutya Acharya Prasadena Yogabhyasa Vashena Cha Isharanugrahena Api Swatma Bodho Yada Bhave Bhuktam Yada Annam Kukshistam Swatma Tvena Eva Pashyati Purnahanta Kabalitam Vishwam Yogeshwara Yada. Srutya, by Shruti, means Upanishads. Acharya Prasadena, by the grace of Guru, Acharya Guru, by the grace of Acharyas. Yoga Abhyasa Vashena, by practicing Nididhyasana. Here Yoga Abhyasa means it's a Yoga means Nididhyasana. But all the three are possible only Ishvara Grahan. And this is what the Swam Yamaivan Brunote Kathokan has to be heard, no? That Atma has to shine by itself. That shining of the Atma by itself to remove the darkness is called Ishvaranugraham. That knowledge is there. When we are ready, the sun that shines by itself. You don't have to wait for the sun, create a sun for removing the light. Same way, that when we are ready, the dawn happens. Same way, Ishvaranugrahat, we will have the Shruti, we will have the Acharya or the Guru who can explain it, and he will also tell us what are the methods, Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, how to do it. When this is being that, Swatma Bodho Yada Bhave. Now, this is the method in which that Atma Bodha will happen. Now, he is giving an example of how does Atma Bodha happens and what happens. Bhukta Yadam Annam Kushisadam Swatmana Eva Pashyati. We are having hunger. There is a cramp in the stomach. We are having the pain in the stomach. Similar to all the problems of life. It is an example by that hunger. Yada Kushisidam Annam. The moment we take the food to the stomach, what happens is that the problem of the hunger goes away. Not only that, Purnahanda Kabalitam Vishwam Yogeshwara Yada. That food which has been consumed by the stomach is not seen separate as something which has come and removed and is standing there separately. Just like a fire extinguisher, the fire brigade came, put out the fire and they are standing by the side. Now that we have put out the fire and we are going back. No. Here the fire of the hunger is, when you take the food gets assimilated, becomes part and part of us. Same way, the hunger which has been removed becomes part and part of us, and the food is not separate anymore. The knowledge which has been given, with which all the problems of life has been removed, we become the knowledge. The knowledge is not separate, which is there in the intellect or memory to recall. That becomes swa-anubhava. It becomes our own experience. Then Vishwam Yogishwara Tada. That time, the Yogishwara, how he created the whole thing, the whole world. The whole world has been created from that knowledge. Then you become the Yogishwara for the Vishwa, because you know the truth. It is my own projection the world has come. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijam dargatam. Pashyan atmani mayaya muhirivo bodham yada nitraya. So that Vishweshwara who created the world is none other than my own reality. I am not the limited individual who was suffering in the waking, nor the individual who was suffering in the dream, who were separately experiencing the calamities of the waking or the dream. I am the pure awareness. That Atma is what I am. This can happen when Srutya, Acharya Anugrahadena, and Nididhyasana, Ishvara Anugrahat. Swatma Bodho Yata Bhavet. That is most important word. Swatma Bodha, the knowledge of the self. Who am I? What Ramana Maharshi told, Sargat Maharaj told, all the great masters have told, Shankaracharya, anybody, the Shruti, everything. Tattvamasi, what he is saying, that is Atma Bodham, what is that? Chandogya Upanishad is saying that. As long as you know this, your reality, you become the Yogishwara for the Vishwa. You are the one who knows the Vishwa, the reality of the world. It is not that you are going to create the world. No. You can't create anything. You are a limited individual in the waking. But when you know your reality, you will know that why I am becoming an individual in waking, why I am becoming a dreamer in the dream. That entity who I am, neither touched by the problems of the dream, not wrong by the problems of the waking, nor inert and insentient in the deep sleep. I am the one who knows all the three states are happening, and I am the one who is observing that. That I am is the one who is who is projecting the world in the dream. He is the same one who projects the world in the waking. And therefore, I am the Yogishwara, Vishwa. We'll stop it today here. Any questions?
Sorry, it's an elementary question, but the just so that I'm understanding, because I'm going through two different translations of Dakshinamurthy. So in total, there's 10 mantras that are covered, and there's different words that are used. A stotra is stotra is the commentary around the mantra.
No, stotra is the basic prayer type of a thing.
Okay, so that's the mantra then.
Yeah.
So there's
here
okay.
Mantra we call mantra only in the Upanishad.
Right. Okay.
In all other man-made things we call it as stotra.
A stotra. And then what would be a verse then?
Verse is number of verses written in a stotra. Stotra is the total compilation. Suppose there are 10 verses in it. The 10 verses put together is called a stotra.
So then, the way that this is organized...
Dakshinamurthy Stotra is one stotra which has got 10 verses.
Right. So the way that this is organized is that there's the first the obeisance to him, Sri Dakshinamurthy, who is the Guru, who at the time of spiritual awakening has verily realized his own self, the one without a second, having understood that the world is within oneself, even as a city reflected in a mirror is, but projected as if it is outside by Maya as in a dream. That first one then, that like it's organized in a way. That's the verse, and then there's like 15, 20 different commentaries about that verse.
Yes.
What do you call the commentaries?
What the commentaries are in this Manasolasa, what is written by Suresuracharya is called a Varthika. Now, Varthika is got a definition in Sanskrit. Uktva, Anukta, Durukta, Artha, Pratibadika, Varthika. That is what has been told in the original one, what has not been told in the original, and what has been less or ill explained in the original. All these things, meaning is explained in particular format of either sloka or a prose or a poem way. That is called a gloss or a Varthika.
So who added for example, we just read, a cut from Gaudapada's Karaka from Mandukya.
Yeah.
That was added by who?
Suresuracharya.
And so when Shankaracharya wrote this, what was the original that he wrote? He wrote just the 10 hymns?
Yes, just 10 hymns only he wrote it.
Nothing else, no commentary associated with it or anything like that?
Nothing.
Right. And the idea there is that the 10 hymns needed the extra padding or commentary in order to lead the student through. Because why?
Well,
like why aren't the 10 enough?
In the traditional schools, people who have already done the study of Upanishad and the Brahma Sutra, Gita and all, these commentaries of Suresuracharya is left for the students to study themselves. The teacher will only take the 10 hymns only and explain that and go. But those students want to study, they can study this Suresuracharya's Kriya Varthika for each of them. He has written 10 separate chapters for each hymn of Shankaracharya.
No, who's not the word allowed, but who is rightly qualified to write the commentaries on this? I mean, anyone can publish a book.
Anyone who has understood the reality of what is being conveyed by the original, without see, there are 3 cases where it has to be in tune with what is the original. It has to be explanatory in nature. It should not be contradicting any part of it at any point of time.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the way in which one wants to explain, anybody can explain that.
And these are all good enough? Like you wouldn't do one of your own then? You could do this, but you don't need to because these are good enough?
Yeah. Because basic Sanskrit knowledge is there and the words are there. So my explanations are from my study of these things. I have read the other commentaries by Harshananda and Alladi Madhava Shastri and others, including the Sanskrit commentaries. I have read it, but while explaining it, I am explaining in my own words what I have understood from all the books which I have read.
Because the one on the screen is what you put together yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. If nothing is there, we'll stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Thank you all.